Where would you least expect to find, well, one of the most engaged and inspiring classrooms in America?
Probably not inside a high-security prison, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today, we're doing a deep dive into a really groundbreaking initiative that does just that. It brings higher education right into prison walls.
Yeah, and our source material for this discussion, it's mainly excerpts from Lifted, Education Transforms Incarcerated Lives.
Right.
It really explores the impact of university-level education on incarcerated people and, where hope can unexpectedly bloom.
So our mission for you today, listening in, is to really unpack the unique challenges and also the quite profound successes of this program. We want to pull out the most powerful insights about, well, transformation through learning.
Right.
And try to understand why these students are described as some of the most engaged their professors have ever encountered.
It's a strong claim.
It really is. And we'll hear about Professor Kenneth Murphy from UC Irvine. He drives 2 hours each way every week, apparently asking himself, why am I doing this?
I bet. That's a long drive.
But he says he always finds the answer when he leaves the prison.
And I think our discussion today will shed some light on what that answer is. We'll uncover some surprising facts, some really powerful human stories, too.
Yeah.
Things that show how education really does offer hope, even in, well, the most unlikely places.
Okay, so let's kick things off. What exactly is the Lifted program?
Okay, so it was founded by Professor Keramet Reiter. She's joint faculty, law and sociology at UC Irvine.
Got it.
And what's really key here is the partnership. It involves Southwestern Community College working directly with the University of California, Irvine.
Ah, okay, so it's a collaboration.
Exactly. And this structure, it allows incarcerated individuals to complete their final 2 years of a full UC degree through UCI while still incarcerated.
That collaboration sounds absolutely crucial. I mean, why the need for both institutions? What challenges in a high-security setting make that necessary?
That's a really good question. Well, you're navigating completely different worlds, right? Academic structures, intense security protocols, funding streams.
Right.
So the community college often lays the groundwork, the general ed stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then the UC brings in that, upper level specialized coursework for the major. So putting them together creates this seamless, accredited path that, frankly, neither institution could easily manage alone inside a prison. It balances academic rigor with just immense logistical hurdles.
That makes a lot of sense. And the results, they're tangible.
Yeah.
About 40 students have graduated so far, I understand, with more coming through.
That's right. Cohorts are moving through the system.
And here's a detail that might get your attention. Lyle and Eric Menendez are among those graduates.
That is a detail that gets noticed, definitely. Does the source material touch on how the program handles that? Avoids letting high-profile cases overshadow the overall mission.
It seems to, yeah, but more implicitly. Yeah. The focus described, from the faculty perspective anyway, stays really firmly on the academics, on the rigor and the transformative potential for all the students, regardless of why they're there.
So it's about the collective achievement.
Exactly. The success is measured by the whole group's engagement and progress.
Okay, good. And academically, what are they studying?
Well, the main major right now is sociology, but they've just added a minor in English too, which is great. Broadens the options.
Definitely.
And this brings us back to Professor Murphy. He teaches business courses, electives.
Right, from the Merage School of Business at UCI.
Yeah, specifically operations management.
And he has this really striking observation. He says, quote, "These are some of the most engaged students I've ever taught. They're incredibly passionate."
Wow.
It really highlights the level of interaction he's seeing, even, given the setting.
That passion is amazing.
Yeah.
But I wonder, does that intense engagement ever create, unique challenges within the prison setting that professors need to handle?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, passion is fantastic, right? But it can butt up against the reality of the restrictions.
Sure.
Students might desperately want, say, immediate access to outside research materials they just can't get.
Right. Or feel frustrated they can't fully apply an idea inside.
Exactly. So professors have to be really skilled at channeling that amazing energy productively, managing expectations, while still feeding that intellectual fire. It takes a lot of adaptability on their part.
Yeah, I can imagine. But here's what makes this really concrete for me, a project from Murphy's operations management class.
Okay.
The students analyzed the package delivery process inside the prison.
Oh, interesting.
Get this. They had no internet access.
No?
None.
Yeah.
And yet, They were developing proposals for better technology, for more efficiency in that system.
Wow, no internet, and they're tackling operational efficiency.
Right. It really makes you pause and think about what resources even mean sometimes, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. That example, it's not just, oh, look, they applied the lesson. It shows how constraints can actually spark serious innovation.
Yeah.
That kind of problem solving, born from necessity.
Yeah.
You might not see that level of engagement in a typical classroom with all the resources in the world. It's application, not just learning.
And the contrast he draws with his on-campus students, it's pretty stark. Professor Murphy mentioned the incarcerated students only got access to internal email, like this past year.
Right.
And he'd get questions from them every single day.
Wow.
But then he teaches an online class at UCI where students have, full internet access. And he says he might never hear from a student because they could just look things up themselves.
Yeah, that difference really speaks volumes, doesn't it? It points to this deep hunger for knowledge, but also for connection. It makes Professor Murphy's quote really hit home. It's like going back to an earlier time in education when the connection between teacher and student was everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it so powerful.
It's a fascinating thought, right? Sometimes fewer technological channels might actually deepen the human element in education.
I think that's exactly right. It kind of strips away the noise, maybe, and puts the focus squarely on that direct exchange. Teacher, student, student, student.
And we really need to stress the incredible odds these students have overcome to even be in that classroom.
Oh, absolutely.
Many didn't finish high school, entered prison with very little formal education.
Yeah.
And through programs like this, they've earned GEDs, finished community college credits, and now they're doing university work, UC level.
It's huge. And it's not just about skills, is it? It's about reclaiming a sense of agency.
Right. In a place designed to remove it.
Precisely. Professor Murphy mentioned he's actually started trying to measure their self-efficacy.
Oh.
And he finds their belief in their own ability to, make things happen, deeply moving. He said, in a place where you'd expect people to feel powerless, these students are in control of their lives.
Wow.
They're thinking about life after prison and they're preparing for it. It shows how education can fundamentally shift how someone sees themselves and their future possibilities.
That's powerful. And there's that anecdote about the dean of the Merage school, Ian Williamson.
Oh, yeah.
He went to one of the graduation ceremonies inside the prison.
Okay.
And was apparently so inspired, so moved, that he personally asked Murphy to be part of the interview discussing the program. Murphy said, "The dean saw what I see. It's hard not to be moved by what these students accomplish."
Yeah, you can see why. It connects back to that bigger picture, doesn't it? For Professor Murphy, for the other faculty involved, Lifted isn't just teaching.
No.
It's about witnessing and contributing to profound personal change, transformation. And he also stresses how fulfilling it is for them, for the educators. Feeling like they've genuinely contributed something every single time they teach. It's clearly a two-way street.
Absolutely. So, okay, let's try to wrap this up. What are the core takeaways for you, the listener, from this deep dive today?
Well, I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. We've seen how education, even somewhere as challenging, as unexpected as a high-security prison, could be this incredibly powerful catalyst.
For personal transformation, for building agency, for sparking hope where you'd think it was scarce.
Definitely.
Which leads to maybe a final thought, right? If education can ignite that kind of deep change, that kind of future planning in such a difficult environment,
Yeah.
what does that tell us about the fundamental power of purpose, of continuous learning for all of us, no matter our situation?
That's a great question.
It really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other unexpected spaces out there hold that same potential for truly transformative learning in our own lives, maybe, or our communities?
And how could we nurture that potential even more?
Yeah. Exactly. Something to think about.